Welcome back to another episode of I Try to See Every Single Genre Product So You Don't Have to, musical Floyd Collins Honest Review. The most famous cave death in America comes to life with Floyd Collins Musical starring Jeremy Jordan. I saw the show the opening week and I have some thoughts. You might be familiar with the name and the title, Floyd Collins. He was an actual real person who in the 1925 Kentucky was discovering a cave, got stuck and died in the cave after 366 hours of being trapped inside. Apparently, back then there was a boom of people discovering caves to turn it into a tourist attraction. Floyd wanted to be the next man to find America's most adventurous cave. He then eventually finds the perfect cave, only to be trapped inside. The townspeople try to rescue him. The mayors, businessmen start getting involved for the rescue project. Then, a news reporter picks up on the story. The reporter arrives on the scene and publishes a story knowing it's going to be a big national hit. The story blew up and became one of the first news to be broadcast nationwide with the new high-tech gadget of the time, the radio. Despite the efforts, there's no progress on the rescue front. Floyd can't dig himself out because he's trapped under a rock on his leg. He's completely unable to move. The only sign of life is when the people outside yell at him and he replies back. The rescue team tries everything from pulleys, but it keeps failing. After 2 weeks, they can't even get a reply from Floyd. The only sign of life is a cricket. Floyd slowly starts giving up hope that he will make it out here alive. The reporter who initially uncovered the story comes to him right before he dies and apologizes, saying, "Floyd, I'm sorry I turned you into a story." Shortly after, Floyd passes away all alone in the cave. The most interesting part of the show is that Jeremy Jordan, aka Floyd Collins, spends the whole show sitting down because he is stuck in a cave. After the first few minutes, he gets trapped in the cave, so he sits on this black chair, unable to move on stage. Even for the moments when he's not in the scene, he's silently sitting on the chair on the stage the whole time. And you would think performing a full musical just sitting in a chair, unable to move, is quite uncomfortably restricting. But however, Jeremy Jordan contradicts this claim, saying that the physical restriction is ironically very freeing since you don't have to worry about your physical gestures or choreography or the movement. You can just pull all your focus and you can put all your focus on conveying your emotions through music. The music was very unique because the numbers are yodel based. The whole cast sings in a yodel style songs, which you can actually check out on their cast album right now. And they also incorporate Floyd's echo in the cave as a chorus of all these songs, which is really cool. And this show is definitely not for everyone because it doesn't have the razzle-dazzle, fancy costumes, exciting dance numbers, or a showstopper that people might be expecting. However, even though it may not seem as fancy, I love the show because it asks a very philosophical question of the role of media, giving up, coming to terms with death. It makes the audience question themselves, thinking, what if I were trapped in that cave? How would I react? What if my loved ones were trapped in the cave and there's nothing I can do? The show also depicts the role of media frenzy. It's been exactly 100 years since Floyd's media frenzy, and during that century, the media pivoted from radio to television, YouTube, and now social media. Even after all that change, the media still plays the same role. They find a disaster, run it as a story, and it becomes an entertainment for the public. Outside of Floyd's rescue camp, tourists would set up carnivals and entertain themselves while watching the rescue project. How is this any different from the 2025 media? If anything, with the new norm of social media, smartphones, and the internet, the media frenzy and the coverage is becoming more and more invasive, more clickbait focused, and more entertaining. News now have to be quicker, faster, and more gruesome to gain tracks and clicks. If Floyd got trapped in 2025, the coverage would have been more invasive, and there would probably be TikTokers and YouTubers trying to jump into that cave themselves. But the reporter in the show, despite his guilt that he has turned an anonymous farm boy into a national headline, without him, this rescue effort would not have been as dedicated. People wouldn't have cared as much without the news. So Floyd finally got the fame he wanted. He was just not around to enjoy it. And according to an interview with the writer, the show was originally written with a focus on Floyd's hope and aspiration, but since has evolved with a focus now on Floyd's surrender, hopelessness, and the process of letting go. What can you do when you're faced with an unbreakable obstacle, with face so close to death you can't touch it? And what is the right way to accept it? Do you keep resisting, or do you just make peace and give up? What does it feel like to keep holding on to the promise of rescue and realizing it's never going to happen? And I think the main reason why fans are divided online is because people are used to seeing Jeremy Jordan in pop vocals and not yodel based songs. But I thought he was so great, and I was lucky enough to score front row seats, and I left with a wholly more profound appreciation of life. Also, stage door. Oh my god. The stage door was so chaotic. It was a safety hazard. I actually had so many questions I wanted to ask him about him bringing this role to life and the yodeling process, but the crowd was so suffocating and aggressive that it was impossible to even say hi, which is very ironic because the whole show is about the media frenzy and people going nuts, and the crowd at the stage door with their phones are doing the exact same thing. It's a very striking resemblance to the aggressive reporters in the show. But thank you so much for watching my video. Like and subscribe for more Broadway reviews. Thank you and have a great day.